Well, hey there, everybody, and welcome to Will's Workshop. I'm Will, and my back porch is my workshop. Today, we are going to start, finally, on a project that I've been putting off for far too long. We're going to be making a sword scabbard. So, the first thing you gotta do when making a sword scabbard is pick up two pieces of this lovely, about, I want to say, 1/8 inch thick poplar. You can find this at any Menards, Lowe's, that kind of store, any lumber store. We use poplar. It's very hardwood, and it also will help with moisture once it's all put together. Now, this is a 4-inch by 4-foot piece of poplar, and one thing you got to know when they're cutting lumber is that when they say 4 inches, it's actually 3.5, and there's a reason for that, and I can't remember what it is, but that's just the way it goes. So when you're looking at a 2x4, it's actually 1.5 by 3.5. That's weird, I know. So what we got to do first is find the center line. I've got two of these boards here, and we have to find a center line so that we can lay down our sword onto the poplar and then trace it out and make sure that it's centered on both boards. So, easy enough. We're looking at 3.5, so the middle's going to be 2 3/4. So we just pop a dot every so often. I did that math wrong. It's 1 3/4 is the halfway mark. Right? Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. 1 3/4. Got my handy dandy yardstick here. Help me line up all those dots and just drop a line straight down the middle. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but there it is. Easy as pie. Now we just do the other board, and then I'll get the sword out here and we'll start tracing. Back in a flash. Okay, so here's the fun part, and thank you, air conditioner, for shutting off. So we've got our lines traced out on both boards. Now, here's the sword. Now this is an Albion. This is from their Squire line, the cheaper line of Albions. It's still very much a real sword, and it's probably one of the highest quality blades money can buy. When you're looking at Squire line, you're talking in the $300 to $500 range. This particular sword, I believe, is the Knight. I'm not 100% on that, and I will look it up and post a link in the video description. But this particular blade has not been sharpened, but always treat swords as though they are sharp. Another quick thing to note, gloves. If you're going to be touching the blade of a sword, wear some latex or rubber gloves or something. Swords are not stainless. They can't be stainless. You have to temper them. So you can pick up a box of these, again, any old hardware store, super cheap, handy to have in the shop for whatever you're doing. So all we're going to do at this point is we're going to take this beautiful, beautiful sword, and we're going to lay it out on our poplar, and we're going to line it up with our center line as best as we can, and make sure to the best of our ability that that sword is right there on the center. Then we just take our pencil and we're just going to trace it Try to get it as perfect as you can. Right like that. So now we have a great little outline of our sword right dead center on our board. I'm a poet and didn't know it. And then we just repeat the process on the other one. Again, making sure to the very best of our ability that it is on this board as flat can be. And I'm already seeing something funky there, so we're gonna actually, well, I don't think you can see me on there, but we're gonna go to the edge of the table and let the cross guard hang over the edge of the table just so that it's absolutely flat. And actually I'm probably gonna go back and check the lines on the other board just to make sure that they're good. Alright, there's that. Take this guy, line it back up. Yeah, that one worked out, so lucky me. Alright, and that's kind of the easiest parts. So again, Albion makes amazing weapons. This is a beautiful and period accurate piece that's just even their cheap swords are absolutely astounding. So the next step is to go ahead and clamp one of these guys to the table, and we're going to start carving out the inside. So yeah, back in a flash. Alright, time for some handheld action here. I've got a couple of these really nice wood clamps. They're nice and long. Good old Irwin, sponsor me please. Anyway, so I've got one of the boards clamped just here at the end. It's not gonna move. It's not moving, and I can't have one here because that's gonna get in the way of the tool that I'm using, which is a Dremel. Now this is a Dremel, and I've got a routing attachment on it. I don't know how well you can see that, but I've got it basically set just about as shallow as I can make it. And what I'm doing at this point is just laying down the lines and clearing out some of this wood. It's a first pass. Swords are diamond shaped when you look at them on the cross section, so they get thicker in the middle and thinner towards the edge. So this is as thin as I can make this, and we're going to do the whole thing. And then after dremeling, or routing I guess is what we're actually doing, after that I will come back and go through with a set of wood chisels and just basically carve out an indentation in this poplar that will fit the sword. And the thing is, it's half and half. I've got two. The sword will get sandwiched in between these two boards, and that will make the scabbard. You'll see when we get there. In the meantime, though, I'm gonna go ahead and get to work on this first board, and we'll shoot a little bit of footage of that. It's painstaking, it's slow, and it's nerve-wracking. But let's go ahead and get to it. All right. Back in a flash. Alright guys, this is nerve-wracking. Always remember iPro. iPro is important. Here we go. It helps if you turn it on. If you've ever looked at purchasing a sword scabbard online and wondered, why are they like $300 to $500? Well, let me tell you, this right here represents about half hour, 45 minutes. And this isn't even the hard part. I mean, it's hard. This is difficult for sure. But you can see how the router leaves it all rough inside of there. Yeah, this is just about forming a baseline and removing as much wood as possible while maintaining a nice shallow indent. And yeah, that's why they cost so much. Anyway, back in a flash. Alright, so might have been exaggerating a little bit in that last clip, but this does actually represent, I checked the time this time around, this does actually represent about an hour's worth of work. And as you can see, it's still pretty rough in there. So for my next step, I'm going to take this little sanding wheel here and just kind of smooth it out a little bit. It's going to make it easier when I go back in with a set of chisels, that just to smooth this out so I don't have all these things that want to grab the chisel. I want a smooth surface that I can work on. So that's what I'm going to do, and then after that I think I'm going to call it good for this episode. Oh goodness, excuse me. Call it good for this episode. We'll come back, and in the next episode, hopefully I have both of these guys carved out. We'll sandwich it together and go from there. Alright, so not quite the end. I just wanted to show you this because I went ahead and kept going after that last cut. Went through with this nice little sanding wheel here and just smoothed it out, and already feeling so much better about where we are. So as you can tell, it's a very shallow indention right now, but that's the idea. We start as thin as possible and then we just work our way down. You can always take more out, you can't put more back. That's the real danger of this. So definitely be careful. But yeah, I don't know if that's gonna show up or not, but that's where we are. And decent progress for day 1, episode 1. So again, guys, I'm Will. This is Will's Workshop. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And yeah, be excellent to each other. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.